Jurgen, coming up for 7 years as Liverpool manager now, you know the club, you know the city. How proud are you of Liverpool and how protective are you of the football club?
Very proud. Don't know exactly what you mean with protective. I'll come to that maybe later. Very proud because what the club, and with the club I mean our supporters, showed after the Champions League final at Liverpool was absolutely exceptional, and I honestly think would not have happened in any other club in the world. A night after losing a Champions League final, coming home, and yes, we won 2 competitions. Didn't celebrate our championship 2 years ago, but it's pretty rare in life that people appreciate these kind of things, especially in the manner our supporters showed us. And that was the proudest moment of my time here at Liverpool, and the best as well in the same moment. Yes, we had a parade after the Champions League final 19, which was absolutely outstanding. I don't want to minimize that or make that smaller, but that day, for the boys, it was absolutely, and for me as well, it was absolutely overwhelming. It was not, we didn't think it's possible. We thought we have to do it because of the situation, but it was not clear how people will react. And then when we came there, it was wow. And that's the best face a club can show, and it's a good example for everybody out there.
I say protected because you know the history of the football club and you know how much the fans had to fight to clear the name of their supporters after what happened at Hillsborough. And for the authorities to immediately blame Liverpool fans as what was happening in Paris was happening seemed a bit odd, given we haven't got a verdict yet.
I'm not sure if odd is the right word, so it was definitely not right. Our situation was, so from a player and coach's point of view, really strange. So we played the game. Before the game, it's usually, I don't exchange a lot of messages, but I'm happy when my missus writes me in the stadium. So now I don't have to think about it anymore. Got this message. Sons were there as well, friends were there as well. So I was fine, but realized when the other coaches, all families are still outside. So then game delayed. And you are busy with things you usually don't think before a game. Are they all right? How do they get in? Then the UEFA guys pass you because of your fans. You think, so that's the information you get, but you don't know anything. You can't go. You don't pick the phone and call now somebody. So I play the game, lose the game in the way we lost. Obviously not one of the best moments of our lives, but then you see family in the stands. Okay, at least that's all right. Then you meet them after the game, and nobody speaks about the result. Nobody speaks about the game. Everybody speaks about what happened around the stadium, and not only on the way in, on the way out as well. So now you try to figure out and bring together. Wow, how can that happen? So next morning you wake up. It's not a day where you pick newspapers like with joy and think, come on, let's have a look what they write. So it's rather, let's have a look. And yes, we still lost the game, but then all of a sudden everybody got, Liverpool fans did that, Jurgen Klopp did that, bam, 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 and then, wow, how is that possible? What are they talking about? Because all the information I got immediately was, so if the Liverpoolians would not have been as calm as they were, it could have been completely different. So much worse than it was. And it was already really bad. And so it's these kind of things. How can you deal with it? You cannot go outside. So wait. I can tell you now the 100% truth because you have to wait for all these different steps. What he's doing here, doing there. So Billy Hogan was incredibly busy through the whole summer to do the right thing for LFC. And obviously now step by step we get more information about who was really responsible. How could it have happened? Everybody needs to know about it, not because it will not change anything for this game, but it has to be changed for the next games, big events, wherever it will be, because the supporters have to be protected. It's not possible that in the future we go to a Champions League final and say, oh, where is it? I don't go there. No. So we are in Europe, so you should just be happy to go everywhere. You travel there, you watch the game, and you go home. You have to go in a fan park, and if you don't have a ticket, go in a fan park, good, and then you go home. Have a nice, good night, and that's it. So that's what we have to guarantee, and that's what the UEFA has to guarantee, and that's why everybody in France needs to make sure that we know exactly why happened, what happened.
In terms of your team, you won 2 trophies last year. You came second in the other 2. I've worked out over the last 4 seasons, you've either won or come second in 7 competitions, which is as good as the club's ever done. It stands you in comparison with people like Dalglish, with people like Paisley, with people like Shankly, in terms of where the club is now and what you've done. When I say about pride, how good does it make you feel that you've done that as the manager?
No, it doesn't make me feel proud, to be honest, and not because we became second and didn't win it. So I obviously had to learn in my life a lot how the second place can feel. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, and obviously we all come together, especially in a club like Liverpool, to win the competitions. But we know that the direction we are going in is, and the things we did in the past were quite good. So we know that. We brought together a bunch of incredible football players. We created a really good atmosphere in the team. We created a really good connection with our fan base. We have an incredible atmosphere in and around our games when we play them. So all very positive things. But it's not that I think about these kind of things and feel then proud. I was at the moment I felt really proud was the parade after the Champions League final. That was a proud moment. All the others is what we have to do. So we have a good basis, a good situation. We have a really, really, really good football team, best stadium in the world, fantastic fan base, and that means we have to be successful, and that's what we try again and again. There's no guarantee for that, and I really think that our people appreciate that we give it absolutely our all, and that what makes it so enjoyable. To be honest, that we really go through all these things. If we win something or if we then lose big from time to time, that we really go through it together. That's what I love most about football. So now it's Wimbledon, what a fantastic tournament, and I love tennis, and wow, Novak Djokovic, and what all the guys and girls play, what the stuff they played. But when they win it, they are alone, pretty much. Physiotherapist, coach, 3-4 people. But for us, it's so much better. We can really have this all together, and that's what I love most, and that's why we will try as long as somebody tells us to stop and not before.
It's a slight summer of change in terms of Mane going out, Nunez going in, other players that you're bringing in, altering the squad slightly. Is it a case of just building on what you've got and not doing anything too drastic that's going to destabilise what you've created?
There's no reason for drastic changes. You would have to change drastic if you think specific parts of the team need a drastic change or whatever, or players lost desire, determination, whatever. That's not the case. I know that. I know them long enough. But you have to change anyway. You have to bring in fresh legs, fresh blood, and that's what we did. And it's not only Sadio left us, Takumi Minamino and Divock Origi left us. 1 or 2 more players might leave us in this transfer window, but we brought in with Darwin, Fabio, and with Calvin 3 really, really interesting players, and that changed the whole dynamic in the team, and that's what you need, because I cannot invent football every day new and tell the boys, by the way, last we played like this, now we play completely different, just to keep them on their toes. No, coming back to tennis, it's exactly like it is. The best players in the world do the same stuff again and again and again, because they do it that often with on that high level. They have a much better chance for perfect decision making. That's what they do, and that's what we will try. But in our case, we can help ourselves a little bit by bringing in new boys and changing the dynamic and give it all a fresh start, and that's exactly what we will try.
One thing that is new for every single manager this season is a mid-season World Cup. How are you intending to manage that? Because you obviously have some players who won't go, some players who might be knocked out in the group stage. Some players who might be there right until the very end of the tournament. How do you manage that?
Don't know yet. We will see that. It's now not that complicated. The situation is always the same. You have some players who come back early, some come a little bit later, and the other ones come back very late. In this case, if you go to the final or you play for a third place, will have 1 week until Boxing Day. So look, we sit here, we talk about it. If I now say it's not perfect, then people tell me I'm a moaner or whatever. So I think everyone knows it's not perfect. If you compare it, that's the domestic thing. We all have the same situation. Depends a little bit which countries goes far. So if Brazil goes far, we have probably a few players involved. If England goes far, we have 2 players involved, or these kind of things. If Holland goes far, all these kind of things. That's one thing. But internationally, with Champions League, nobody knows how that will work, because we play pretty much through 1 week, and Germany has a 3-month gap. It's like, wow. So if they start late January again, so they have then a proper preseason. They have to organize this. And we will have a preseason as well. We have, I don't know exactly, 2 weeks off and 3 weeks or so, then preseason for the long second part of the season, which is good. The more players you could have been involved in that would be outstanding. But how can you have a plan for something what never happened before? So we will create a plan in the moment. It's clear how we will do it, how long we will have off, how long we will prepare, but who will be in, we cannot know. So we have to wait for this information. But I said it so often, and obviously nobody really listens. We have to make sure that we give the boys enough time to rest. And only now we have the 5 subs, which is absolutely crucial and great news. But UEFA and FIFA have to be careful with what they really want, because they want high quality in the tournaments. And if you have tile players in the tournaments, you don't have high quality. So we really have to think, and the Premier League has to think as well. I know, come on, this kind of thing. 1 week, you become world champion, for example, England, hopefully, and then 1 week later, Boxing Day, everybody expects you to be ready again. That never happened before in history of football, but for this generation, it happens again and again and again, not exactly that, but in similar situations. So we have to make sure that we really all talk about the right stuff and give the players a rest, that they can be the players they are able to be, and not the players left by all the intensity around.